Hey guys, this is GWS here, and check this out. In New York Magazine, America takes the next step toward tyranny. This is, oh boy, this is just so hilarious. I just had to make a video on it, so let's read what this magazine has to say. Every now and again, when I find myself buried in the latest blizzard of invariably disturbing news emanating from Trump, the Trump White House, I go back and remind myself of the core narrative. I read Plato's Republic again, the prism through which I first raised the alarm about Donald Trump's emergence. The prism is essentially how a late stage democracy, dripping with decadence and corruption, with elites dedicated primarily to enriching themselves and a people well past any kind of civic virtue, morphs so easily into tyranny. Okay, well, let's see. For a little bit oversimplistic, because you're comparing a tragedy to real life, and I don't know. Liberals just like to do this. Maybe he's been watching the theater in Central Park too much. Whoever who's Andrew Sullivan's the author. Take that for what you will, because I don't memorize authors like this, and this is part of the reason. This is tabloid stuff right here. This is what you read in something like that, like on the front of National Enquirer or something, like Trump to become dictator. Just some eye-popping, wide-open thing. Okay, well, let's see how he makes parallels to this, why don't we? When Plato's tyrant first comes to power on a wave of populist hatred of existing elites, there is a period of relative calm where he just gives away stuff, at first promises much in private and public, and grants freedoms from debts, and distributes land to the people and those around himself, in parentheses, or say, $1 trillion unfunded tax cut. Now, the thing is they're trying to reduce spending right now to counter those tax cuts. So, but okay. I don't see what that has to do with your point, though. That's the big thing. Alright. He aims to please, but then, as he accustoms himself to power and feels more comfortable, quote, he suspects certain men of having free thoughts and not putting up with his ruling. Some of those who helped in setting him up are in power. The manliest among them speak frankly to him and to one another, criticizing what is happening. Then the tyrant must gradually do away with all of them if he is going to rule, until he has left neither friend nor enemy of any worth whatsoever. Okay, so now keep in mind what's being talked about here. These were tragedies that were written at this time period, which means these people were killed. People killing political opponents, right? So this is what that's comparing to. Like, this is being equated to Joseph Stalin, killing all his political opponents, being the sole superpower, and then killing anybody who does not show um, extreme loyalty to him. So how are they going to compare Trump to that? So okay, let's clearly they can't say Trump killed people, right? So let's hear how they how they rationalize it. I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. This is the second phase of tyranny after the more benign setting in the purge. Any constraints that have been in place to moderate the tyrant's whims are set aside. No advice that counters his own gut impulses will be tolerated. And so, over the past couple of weeks, we have seen the president fire Rex Tillerson and Andrew McCabe, two individuals who simply couldn't capitulate to the demand that they obey only Trump rather than the country as well. Oh my goodness. Well, first of all, they are under Trump by definition. The country is not a person. Um, okay, this gets good. And because of this small gesture of defiance, they deserve this special public humiliation. Tillerson was warned of his impending doom while on the toilet. A sadistic, nice touch. A nice sadistic. It's fucking. Oh no! Yeah. Oh yeah! Oh, he's, oh, he, he didn't just he didn't just, he didn't just fire Tillerson. Oh no! He had to fire him while he was on the tour. Oh, McCabe was fired hours before his retirement. A public execution also fraught with oh, oh, he doesn't get his retirement, so that's a public execution. Oh, oh, Iran, North Korea, Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Palestine. Oh, you towel heads better get your act together. You know, you're uh, decapitating people and you're hanging and guillotines. You know, whatever else you're doing. That has nothing to do with Trump. That has nothing on Trump. He's firing people while they're on the toilet and firing them to prevent them from getting their overpaid pensions. A nice sadistic touch for him finding out he is fired on the toilet. Oh, you know, what if he found it out while he was showering, or swimming in his $1 million swimming pool? Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, I didn't even read past this part, but oh my God, this article's long. Okay, well, we'll read a little bit more, and then if I get bored, we'll end this because that was this is the big paragraph right here. Yeah, I tell you what, when liberals fail, they fail spectacularly. Like, I've been on David Packman's Reddit because, I like to call him Mr. Makeup now, Makeup Man, because that's pretty much what he is. Like I, I'm serious. Like, okay, this is a little bit off topic, but I'll just go into this. Like David Packman, um, he had no following. He was part of TYT Network, for Christ's sake. He had no following. He had nothing. And you look at how he looked. Like, watch his Ben Shapiro debate. He looked like a rat that got kicked around the street. Hair all messed up and, nothing. But then he gets a makeup artist. And then all of a sudden you just see him standing straight up, looking directly into the camera like he's in love with it. Um, just talking about, just showing off his makeup job. It's like David Packman, he doesn't have the most nuance, but let me tell you, that dude has a multi-million-dollar makeup artist. That makeup, it adds the feminine touch, I guess. Like it makes him look just short of being a woman. But okay, I think I went a little bit too far into that. Woo. Okay. Anyhow, um, but when liberals fail like this, they fail spectacularly. Like, all we've heard over and over and over again is this Russia stuff. Russia, Stormy Daniels, all these NDAs with these other Playboy models. And yeah, okay, on a personal level, Trump is a rotten individual. He objectifies women far too often. That's just a fact. But it's like, this is the president we're talking about. Like, If you put "I'm a really nice guy" on your resume and you try to get a job with that, how many offers are you going to get? Probably not that many offers. In fact, that's probably going to be a negative mark. What are you trying to imply here? Like, you could come on this job, say you're a nice guy, suck at your job, bring the company down, and we're just going to keep you because you're a nice guy. Excuse me. It's, oh my god, okay, this has to be go. Oh, the waterboard, this is juicy. No one with these instincts for total domination over others is likely to moderate the longer he is in power. Au contraire, it always gets worse, and so Tillerson has been replaced by a fawning toady, Mike Pompeo, a man whose hatred of Islam is only matched by his sympathy for waterboarders. True statement, but Pompeo wasn't just hired by Trump. Pompeo has already been head of, I think it was the CIA, and he just switched to the State Department so they could hire the other woman. Yeah, Gina Haspel. They pointed out there. Whatever we know about Haspel, we know she follows orders. I don't know about that necessarily. She was the head of a black site, you know, and she posed over some dude's dead body. She's not exactly known for being good. I can agree with that, but it's like, I mean, where's your evidence that she is like an ultra Trump loyalist? Like, I don't see the evidence for that. I mean, think about it. Think about who Rex Tillerson was. Head of ExxonMobil, and was looking to make deals with the Russians prior to the sanctions. And it was assumed the whole time, he's getting Tillerson because Tillerson wants that Exxon deal, and he'll be damned if he doesn't get it. And he never got it, did he? In fact, I think he was one of the ones that canceled it. And it was just like, all these insinuations people come up with, people trying to connect the dots using logic that they haven't deduced, and that's a big problem. That's a pretty big problem. Gary Cohn has been replaced by Larry Kudlow, a sane person, followed by a delusional maniac Trump sees on Fox, who instantly thought up ways for the president to cut taxes further without congressional approval. In the State Department, indeed the entire diplomatic apparatus, has, it seems, been replaced by Jared Kushner, a corrupt enthusiast for West Bank settlements who no longer has a security clearance. I don't even know what that's trying to imply. Like, okay, the theme of this is Trump is becoming a tyrant. Like, they're saying Larry Kudlow is the sane person? Oh, wait a minute. Oh, okay, yeah, I see what they're saying. Gary Cohn is a sane person. Gary Cohn, isn't this just really interesting? That, okay, you have everybody talking about Gary Cohn and his association with Goldman Sachs. President of Goldman Sachs, I think he was. And he gets hired into the Trump presidency. It's like everybody and their mother was talking about how this was a corrupt move. And indeed, it's like, Goldman Sachs, it's a pretty questionable entity that has, done its fair share of corrupting our government. That is the truth. I don't know much about Larry Kudlow, but excuse me. It's like, how is this furthering his tyranny? Like, is Larry Kudlow more loyal to Trump than Gary Cohn? Like, I don't know. Like where's the connection? where is even a simple logical anything? Doesn't even have to be a logical deduction, but where is something where this is given any probability? This is the problem with, it's like, you know, we have a free press, right? And we should continue to have a free press. But here is a problem with people writing without a filter. Writing with an editor who, will always give the benefit of the doubt, basically. Will always look out for the interests of the magazine. And the interest of the magazine is to sell more copies and therefore write controversial content. So as long as you are not doing anything that'll negatively impact New York Magazine, like, your content's going to be on there. Like, it's just going to be on there. And I don't even know if these words are put through a filter. There has to be, I'd say there has to be some editorial process, like at least some kind of legal screening of every document. That's just a given, but it's like, when you don't have a filter that can get these facts, like, just get to the facts and make sure that an article is impartial and fact driven, this is what you get. You get a lot of these half rationalizations, these ad hoc explanations, these ad hoc connections to things like Plato's Republic. And it's just, okay. So now they're going to talk about the legal team. Then the president's legal team was shaken up. In order to purge those few, purge. I'm sorry. Oh my. I don't even know why that's so funny. It just, within the context of the article, it's like you using that word. It's like you're talking about like Trump committing defense lawyer holocaust or something. The purge. It's like you're trying to. What are you gonna say? The genocide of Trump's? Oh, jeez, I'm sorry. It's not really that funny, but I can't help it. Like this article just has my funny bone. Okay, I'll stop. I'll stop. All right. Those few who retain some appreciation for the rule of law in a constitutional republic and to replace them with conspiracy theorist thugs and the kind of combative asshole lawyers Trump has always employed in his private capacity. Excuse me. Trump is self-evidently, obviously, preparing to fire Mueller, and the GOP's complete acquiescence to the fire of McCabe is just a taste of the surrender to come. So, okay. Prepare, like, I don't see the connection. And the kind of combative asshole lawyers Trump has always employed, trying to connect that to the previous people he had with some appreciation for the rule of law, and replacing them with conspiracy theorists, like not conspiracy theorist thugs, and the kind of combative asshole lawyers. I don't even know. Is he talking about Trump's staff in general, like Bannon or whatever? Like, like his legal team. See, I don't even get where any of this follows one another. Okay, so let's read through this again. Let's see. Let's play reading comprehension. Then the president's legal team was shaken up in order to purge those few who retained some appreciation for the rule of law in a constitutional republic and replace them with conspiracy theorists. Um, so he's saying his legal team once had an appreciation for the rule of law. I don't know how that's even backed up because Trump's legal team and lawyers, they've always been criticized. You know, like with conspiracy theorists, what conspiracy theorist was on his legal team? Thugs? What thugs were on his legal team? And the kinds of combative asshole lawyers Trump has always employed in his private capacity. So then he's going with lawyers. So it's like, I don't know if he's just talking about his legal team or if he's just talking about everybody Trump's hired. And I'm going to stop trying to understand it because this writing is like 10th grade level English. It's not good and it's not well thought out. There's no comprehension to be had because there's no point. Like, it's word salad basically. It's just throw a bunch of stuff out there and pretend it um, comes from your premises and leads to your conclusion. But in between all that, you just have a nice word salad sandwich. And it's not at all professional. This is New York Magazine, so maybe I shouldn't expect a lot, but, like, you think, like, New York Magazine's not a small entity, right? You'd think they'd get some better writers? Just saying. I know it's a little bit nitpicky, but it's like when I read halfway into a paragraph and I don't even understand what's backing up the original point, then that's something. Obviously preparing to fire Mueller. Like, I don't know where people are even getting this. Like, I don't think Trump was given any indication that he's preparing to fire Mueller. What he wants is a conclusion, but it's looking like Trump wants Mueller to come out with his own conclusion cleanly without firing him. You know, I don't think anybody serious is talking about firing Mueller. And the GOP's complete acquiescence to the firing of McCabe is just a taste of the surrender to come. Like, I mean, McCabe was leaving anyhow, but it's just, I don't know. Just too much dot connecting is all this is. Like, you know, there's certain times when you can connect the dots, but it's like, you have to at least be able to deduce your conclusions in some way, and that's not being done in this. Now I'm fucking doing it my own way, end quote, was how he allegedly expressed his satisfaction to the purge, and his approval ratings from Republicans increase, and as the GOP's evolution into a full-fledged goat gatherer's pace. Okay, yeah, I read that wrong. That's my reading comprehension. Okay, anyhow. like allegedly expressed. You know, it's like, let's see. At least they're sourcing it here. Yeah, okay, I think this is referring to, Trump is going to do the interview with Mueller, and he's basically going to take the fight to him himself. And it's like, how is this backing up the original point of this article? Like, Trump is firing his defense team because he wants to pursue a more aggressive strategy toward Mueller. How does this point to tyranny exactly? I don't get it. Like, how does that point to tyranny? Like, he's tired of people telling him to run scared from Mueller, and he's getting flogged and flogged and flogged over it. um, and it's preventing him from being able to do his job. And then it's like, how is that saying he wants to be a dictator? Like, I don't know. This is just the kind of stuff that would come from like some high schooler. Some high schooler writing a paper on like his rationalization for communism and then giving a bunch of like eighth grade level talking points to support it. Like, I like communism because it makes everybody equal. Or I like communism because it really, really helps people. Just the simplistic logic, this unconnected nonsense. And this goes, let's see how far this goes. Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, well, it ends here. I'm not going through this whole article. It's like, this is. Okay, I don't know if all this is, but yeah, we're not reading. I don't think we're going to read through this anymore regardless, because it's like, if this were posted in a Reddit thread, this would be a waste of time in itself. But here it is in New York Magazine for all the subscribers to read. Excuse me. For all the subscribers to read, everybody to see this faulty logic. And here's the thing, it's like, this is going to get Trump into the White House again. And the fact is this, is that Trump's approval numbers are going up gradually with this. See, like, when the media catches Trump making some kind of bombastic statement or talking about transsexuals, or like using crude remarks, talking about shithole countries, talking about just catching him saying stuff like, that's when his approval rating goes down, because people want character in their president. I don't really agree with that logic, but that's what people want, is they want character. And it's like, when people, they get Trump on the character stuff, it's fine. But when you start getting into like American exceptionalism, Russia, all that, these are winning issues for Trump. Trump will always win on those issues because people just aren't as concerned with it as the media are. Like, the media's reported on this, and Pew does polls, and still people, they're indecisive about whether Russia is a huge problem. And most people say Russia is not an adversary, even after all this. So anyhow, this is just another one of those Trump-Russia nonsense things. Or more broadly, talking about Trump taking the next step toward tyranny by notifying Tillerson while he was on the crapper, and firing McCabe before he could collect his pension. but I gotta say, the worst of those is probably getting fired on the crapper. That's just devastating. That's cruel punishment. Like, was he dropping his load when you let him know? Like, that's what I'd like to know. Like, was he wiping? Was he, it's, I don't know. That's a little bit, I don't need to go there, but the fact is, and, and purging is legal too. He's the purge. The purge has begun. He fired a defense attorney This is the beginning of the purge. You know, watch out for the feds. He just fired a defense attorney. Oh boy. Okay, I'm gonna stop now. Thanks for listening, guys. God bless. This is hilarious.